This WAFLW live stream is proudly brought to you by Optus, proud naming rights partner of the WAFL, and WAFLW, Bupa, proud sponsor of WA football. And the West Coast Eagles, supporting WA female footballers to follow their dreams.
Are you ready? Ready to go? Are you ready? Ready for more? Are you ready? Ready for me? Oh my, oh my. Are you ready? Ready or not? Are we going? And I can't stop. Are you ready? Ready for me? Oh my, oh my. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Very good morning and welcome to Revo Fitness Stadium here in Claremont. Today the final home and away round for season 2019 of the WAFLW season, and Claremont hosting East Fremantle. A lot at stake this afternoon. Second spot on offer for the Sharks, and the Tigers could actually leapfrog the Sharks if they get the win today, heading into the elimination finals next week. Matt Chetchin's here calling all the action for this big blockbuster, and shortly to be joined by Clint Degebrot to preview this game. We can go through the previous meetings of these two teams. 2-0 in favour of Claremont, but it should be a tight game going to the form book. Claremont led by 22 points back in round 5 before East Fremantle closed in and just fell 1 point short, and then the Tigers getting over the line in round 10 by the margin of 2 points. A couple of big outs. We'll go through those after these messages. It is the final round, round 15 of the WAFLW season, and we'll be right back with all the action.
Nature knows it's better to be part of a group than out on your own. To be surrounded by others whose sole purpose is to keep you safe and well. At Bupa, we call it Members First, a network of thousands of healthcare providers, all there for you. Search Bupa Members First.
If you need it live streamed, you need Front Row Screens. Visit frontrowscreens.com.au.
It's a high ball.
Don't you diddle, don't you daddle, you better skedaddle. You need to run for your life. Well, like Virginia Creeper, well, didn't want to keep her, just maybe for a while. You're the lady in a hurdling. Well, I feel that day.
Yeah, incredibly exciting. It's obviously a new chapter in my career, in my football career, but I'm incredibly excited to be here and a part of this football club. And I've been really impressed by the professionalism, the level of respect that they've treated me through this process, and I guess the core values that the club have. The product that we're producing now for AFLW has really grown over 3 years, but the next 3 to 5 years is going to be incredible, and some really talented girls coming through, and I can't wait to actually work alongside them. And I felt like I'd be a part of the family here.
Welcome back to Revo Fitness Stadium, formerly Claremont Oval. Matt Chetchin's here calling all the action. It is the final round of the home and away season. Claremont hosting East Fremantle. He's just got in from his 4-kilometre morning run. Clint Degebrot, very good morning.
Got a walk for a coffee, but all good.
Look, a lot at stake, and probably a good curtain raiser as to what we're going to experience in the next couple of weeks. We'll actually go through the final scenarios at half-time in this one, but a lot at stake for Claremont, rather East Fremantle, because a loss pushes them back to 4th. They'll have to go on the road. However, a win will see them leapfrog Swan Districts into second.
Yeah, obviously East Fremantle very keen to win this one, and Claremont be confident 2-0 for the season. Claremont have tailed it a little bit towards the end of the year, and East Fremantle have been steady, but of course all comers have been blown out of the water by Subiaco from start to finish, and Swans finishing with a wet sail. This one's an interesting one because the forward line of East Fremantle is dynamic, and the back line of Claremont is. The forwards for Claremont are not as prolific as East Fremantle forwards, but I think today the Sharkies might be bereft down back. So it could be a half-back to half-back bounce. Midfield battle will tell the story. Some
interesting numbers I ran during the week because I've got a bit of spare time on my hands now, Clint. But East Fremantle, number one in the competition for scoring shots. They've kicked 64 goals, 71. That's 135 total shots. So they're getting the ball in the forward line. However, for goal-kicking accuracy, they are dead last, 47.4%. Interesting enough, Peel actually leads that, but obviously didn't kick enough this year, and it's not going to be helped this afternoon with No Sprillian as well, who's kicked 7 goals for them.
Yes, that's right. But I think the power of Roxanne Rue and a couple of other players down there, Ashley Atkins, very, very handy, and Steph Sparks, a noted goal kicker, albeit a lot of goals in the twos. She's got great hands and a good strong legs. Anytime that she gets the football out in front of her face, sort of 30 metres out, she's nice and dangerous. Priestley will run off a halfback today, I think, and Evangeline Gooch and those types of players have been bobbing up kicking goals as well. So the spread, 6 or 7 wins it as a rule. I think East Fremantle got that in their team today. But Kate Orme and Sophie McDonald and the team down there, Sarah Garstone, been really, 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 really good for Claremont. Super impressive back 5.
They're going to have their backs against the wall because one of their better ball winners and also a handy goal kicker in Emily Bonza is out of the lineup this morning.
So you'd imagine that the centre clearance is going to go by the way of the Sharks, but Claremont have no problem loading up from half-back. So intercept marking, Kate on playing a fantastic anchor role throughout this season. So I'd imagine what will happen is the East Fremantle Sharks will get the ball going forward from the CBD, but Claremont have the ability to intercept mark and spread it by foot, so that their attacks will start from half-back, I'd assume. Andrew Dillard teams tend to play that way. It's a very West Australian way to play footy.
Can we read much into the previous meetings? Because it's 2-0 to Claremont, only a 2-point win and a 1-point win. And however, all 3 of these fixtures are going to be played here at Revo Fitness Stadium.
Yes, which is great for Revo Stadium, and of course the surface out there is as best as it's been all year. And well done to Darcy and his team for doing so. I know it's been a lot of hard work over the last 18 months. I guess, get back to the question. The Sharks are going to have to be really good through the midfield. They're going to have to really get work back into defence. And, of course, Claremont will, missing Emily Bonza, will have to really sort of jam that ball forward. The meetings in the past I don't think matter, because we'd have to really do some analytics, because we'd have to see who was in, who was out, AFLW service, not AFLW service, home and away weather. So I reckon this one's just I reckon it's 0-0 here, fresh start.
The numbers do indicate that it'll be a slow sort of burn as far as scoring. 2 of the lowest scoring teams in the first terms coming head-to-head, so it could be a bit of that arm wrestle, as you said, in midfield this afternoon.
One of the most exciting things is the Eagles have the chance to pre-list 7 players by August 30. That's coming up, of course, this week. So this game does have a bearing on those final 7 spots. So I'm not putting any pressure on anybody, but it's a really exciting time, because we're going to find out who the next 7 West Coast Eagles listed players are.
Exciting
in
times.
the next week.
Well, the team's ready to go. East Fremantle will be kicking to the right of your screen. Claremont over to the deep shadows to the left of your screen at home. Thanks for joining us, Matt Chechens and Clint Dagerbrock. A lot on the line as the umpire raises the ball, and we are underway. Swan Districts will be keenly watching this and hoping for a Claremont win. There's no decisive clearance so far. Gooch goes in head first. Ball gets spilled free, and Gooch lays that tackle out through the back now, and stooping down trying to pick up there was Arnott, taking it a good tackle, and a secondary bounce will occur. So we'll see how the teams will be trying to extract this football from this ball up. And a bit slippery underfoot. I had to walk out on the oval prior to the game, and obviously the early bounce is going to affect the players' feet. As we've got another ball up. Bit of an arm wrestle early stages, Clint.
Yeah, you did call that well. That's Bowie and Zadnik going up in the ruck. They've been 2 fantastic chop-out rucks who looked after each other very well. Well, their teams very well for the season. That's Valentini moving forward.
So they kick it up towards centre half forward. Here's a chance for the Tigers. A little bit of time and space. The long looping hand pass over the top, looking for options. Onto the right boot of Dickey. No one at home at the moment, but the Sharks defender just fumbling at the wrong time. Closing in there was Goodwin Wissink. They want to try and get that first scoring shot this afternoon. And very difficult, greasy ball to pick up at the moment. That's into the hands there of Dickey, whose kick hits the left hand upright into the padding for a minor score. So first blood, albeit a minor one, going the way of the Tigers. No real breeze to speak of this afternoon. Rather this morning, I've got to stop saying that. It is quite early. The second early bounce down that the Tigers have had this year as the kick comes out. Good intercepting mark taken from the Tigers. That's Urseg. Just lowers the eyes into the pocket, trying to spot her teammate in Timmers, but the kick was offline and out of play for a boundary throw-in. Positive start from the Tigers.
Yeah, Mark can play on very nicely there from Urseg. Just hit a bit of shin there. I think she was loading up for the long bomb to the square, then changed her mind, didn't change her foot action, but good perimeter defence from the Tigers.
So the Sharks will have to withstand this. At the front there was White trying to win it down. She's been a handy goal kicker throughout the season. Tigers, another chance. That's through the hands there of the Tigers player in White. East Fremantle get a shoe on the ball. They clear their defensive line, but for how long is the question. Laura Pugh swinging right hand through the football. Opens the doors there for Dickey, but she lost her feet right at the crucial time. That's O'Sullivan under a lot of duress. Kicks up to a 2-on-2 in the middle of the ground. And that's a good, strong mark taken in the middle of the ground by the Tigers. Now they look to play on quickly again. Looking for a team out wide in Urseg. Does well with the second effort. Recedes a bit of ground with a hand pass to Arnott. She's been good in the last couple of rounds. That was good body work from White. So White loads up to the teeth of goal. Perfectly weighted kick. That was good build-up play from the Tigers. And they'll get a chance for the first set shot through Crystal Spanos.
Good clean 1-2 play.
And hands it off to Pugh. Is this the first goal of the day? It has got the carry, and it's through for the first major. So brilliant ball movement and heads-up play as Laura Pugh running off half-forward gets the first major. That was clever play.
It was very neatly done by the Tigers. They set up that defence well, which I think you called it earlier, 22-point advantage against East Freo in a previous encounter, and it was done through the hard work early. With basically Claremont controlling the box. They have full control of the perimeter. They're setting up 4 behind the ball once they've got the ball deep inside 50. And it's looking really good. Some clean ball use and some good decision-making by hand and foot.
Brooke White started the game quite lively as well. Good body work at half forward.
That was nice, wasn't it? Just to trap that footy and a nice long ball in from Arnott.
So the ball back in the middle. The Sharks have yet to clear the centre bullseyes at this stage. Doesn't look like they're going to have to wait for a little while as that ball shin forward. Out towards Colgate on hands and knees, but Gooch there to intercept. Now her hand pass asking a lot of her teammate in Dumanis. She ran into a little bit of trouble, so the Tigers just hunting in packs at the moment. That's hacked forward. Out towards the only goal kicker so far in Pugh. Her little soccer to herself didn't come to fruition. That's Dumanis. Off to Gooch. Kicks hurriedly back in towards the middle of the ground. Good pick up there from McMahon. She was wrapped up in the tackle. O'Sullivan feeding it wide by hand now off to Atkins. This is the furthest forward they've been. And that's a good weighted kick and a good mark from Tapner. So Tapner's kicked 5 goals on the season. Vacant square. Hongel trying to track that football back does well and ushers it through for a minor score. I've liked the season work, the body of work from Hongel throughout the year.
No, she's been very solid and she'd be in that running for one of those spots, but pre-listing, that's for sure, if not listed later on in the year in the draft. She's had a very, very solid season.
Some good work there in a tight spot from Tinson. Now she tumbles one up towards Hongel, taken out by her own teammate. They, again, affect the gang tackle. There's hacked out of the pack towards the pocket. Chasing back now for the Sharks is going to get closed down there by Ashton Hill, and the ball's going to spill out and out of play for a boundary throw-in. So better signs now for the Sharks looking to respond.
I love the way Tapner rolled inside there, just to demand. It was just Hongel's foot speed that made that tough, but really good aggressive play from Tapner from 50.
So the ball comes in, gets spun in. Versace doing the ruck work. Good smother on the football there from the Tigers defender. That was probably not correct disposal. Out towards Hongel. Now she had to just hand pass into vacant space. Turned it over. Was that a high shot? The umpire didn't think so. The Sharks getting a snap on goal, but the goal line defence there of Laurie getting back and forcing it through for a minor score. So they've dropped her behind the ball, Paris Laurie.
Yeah, she's not rucking yet, and she's doing some sweeping behind the play.
So no one on the mark, and the Tigers allowed to run free. They kick to a big pack of players through the hands there of Leah Urseg. Sharks with numbers. Hand pass received now from O'Sullivan. Off to the run now of her teammate in Seth. And Seth finds Versace. So really good build-up play at the moment. Now Versace's looking around for a runner, maybe to give off the hand pass. Trying to copy, and O'Sullivan wanting the crumb.
Right. She's got a good leg,
Yep.
and it's a nice direct kick. She's probably just a little bit far out. You can see that she's calling for a runner to come at her.
So elects not to pull the trigger at goal. Instead lowers the eyes up towards centre half forward. Good work defensively there by Garstone. Can clear her lines, but Gooch with time and space now. Gets a kind bounce. Can run on. Tries to little check side inside the forward 50. Tigers again with numbers, and the Sharks will do well to bottle this one in. And they'll force another ball up.
So 3 repeat entries too from the Sharks, and they're set up really, really well here. You see Evangeline Gooch just sitting in that exact spot that Claremont want to clear the ball to. The Claremont have to come up and man up. You've got Wong behind the football now, so anything from Claremont here is going to be swept back in.
So the smother kick ends up in the hands of Seth. She's receding ground, looks to loop it up towards Gooch. Now she's got time and space. That kick just falling short of the intended target. Great tackle laid on the Tigers defender, and that was superb closing speed by, I think that was Versace, and she will now be moved probably 10 metres closer to where she elected to pass before, and having kicked 3 this year, will try and back herself, Clint.
Yeah, this is a good spot for Versace. You got a long straight kick with a nice sort of arcs up nicely, so she should have the distance. She'll certainly have the accuracy. Very confident approach this time.
So from the Harvey Bulls, down south, drops it onto the right boot, and that will fall short to a big pack of players. The Tigers, again, just with numbers, and they can clear their defensive line now. So that's an awkward spinning kick. Lands fortuitously, but they've looked to move it across. But again, they just cough it up across halfback. So the ball comes inside now. Going one way, then the other there is Tinson. Tinson's kick was partially smothered. This is Pugh now. Pugh feigning the hand pass, has got room to operate. Kicks out to a contest out on that non-broadcast wing off the shins. And that will be the last touch rule. So East Fremantle with the receiving free kick.
Caught it on the full, actually. Someone rebounded over. After saying Versace has nice arc on her kick, she kicked a nice flatty.
Yep. So Hill looks to move play. Now Hongel will track this football back. About to be set upon one way, then the other. They'll come back in board. That's a bit of a dangerous hand pass coming in towards the corridor. So the Sharks can swoop on that. Good, again, defensive pressure from the Tigers. Slung in the tackle there was Demanis. That was great job there from Leah Urseg. Kicks back in towards the middle of the ground, but they turn it over again, and the Sharks use the footy so well. Now O'Sullivan normally would swallow those for breakfast. Instead has to give it off by hand to Atkins with a flying shot at goal. But again, the goalkeeper role from the Tigers, they've been doing that well. Early stages.
Swept this ball out. It's the connection. I think you called it earlier. It's the connection at halfbacks. That's the issue. Trying to be really careful coming out and just to get a possession. But massive numbers outnumbered here, Claremont, as they sort of try to clear their back 50.
Coming in head on there was the number 11 in Goodwin Wissink. And again, another arm wrestle at right half forward.
She's done really, really well there. 1 on 4 just to get that stoppage now. So this has been Claremont been strong in this little stoppage work, despite me thinking that East Freo had the goods on them in the midfield.
Haven't seen too many tackles being broken either. They're pretty tough. And
I reckon that's a big difference between this year and last year. Yeah, the strength of the tackles, the tackle technique's very solid.
So Roxanne Roux, the leading goal kicker for the Sharks, too far out to score on this occasion. So she goes by right boot. That's an awkward spinning ball sort of laterally in towards the pocket. Tigers trying to get numbers back. Running out of room there is McDonald, and the ball just spills out for a boundary throw. And the Sharks will take that. Still looking for their first major. It's 1-1-7 to 2 behinds, almost halfway through this opening term. So much at stake in this game. The Tigers looking to jump the Sharks and get into third and be able to host an elimination final here next week. As the ball comes back in, one down by Laurie, double fist this time, back towards the boundary. Now the numbers favouring the Tigers at the moment. One out there was Demanis. She was shoved off the footy and off the shin of a player there, the last touch rule, and that will be the free kick going the way of East Fremantle. So Tinson just looks into that forward pocket. Ball hangs a long time in the air, and the intercepting mark taken in the last line of defence from the Tigers. So they're withstanding these repeat entries at the moment from the Sharks.
Just exiting the same way each time, and the same results achieved at the moment.
So they're playing kick to kick at the moment. This is Tinson. So she'll get a chance, a bit of deja vu again from right half forward. That's a better looking kick up towards centre half forward. A dangerous spot. O'Sullivan goes off the deck and out of play. Earns a boundary throw in just 10 metres around from the right-hand behind post.
Clever play by the AFLW player there, knowing that rule that she wasn't going to give it away in the arc. This is going to be thrown into the corridor 25 metres out. So
a dangerous spot. The Tigers have withstand a lot of pressure so far. One down by Versace. There goes O'Sullivan again, playing soccer. She's already a dual sports or an athlete, losing unfortunately in the semi-final last night in the State Basketball League as the ball clears the defensive 50. Now Pugh, usually so clean with their hand skills, dropped that one out towards the boundary line. Players running out of room, coming in hard and fast at the moment. Again, they withstand the pressure. That was the left-hand hand pass from Pugh. Somehow the ball's still alive. And the arm wrestle continues. Players really losing their feet. Maybe need to change studs at halftime. So the Sharks can re-enter again. That's probably double digits that they've been inside their forward 50. Can they be clean this time? Is that in the back? No, said the umpire. Big pack of players around this football now. And finally, the umpire will call for the ball and a chance for another stoppage.
Every time Claremont have sort of, Brooke White gave it 1 or 2 on 1 there to give them a chance, and then the little fumble just meant that they're back under pressure again. So one of those situations where the backs actually need to get a chest so they can get a break for a moment, just reset. It looks like they're not going to do that here again.
No, so the mark was dropped, and they finally managed to clear it past the bullseyes at the moment. So a bit of a one-on-one contest out of side. Ashley gets pushed off the ball, goes back in with a second effort. Little toe coming from the Sharks player, but the ball goes through that player's feet, probably at the worst time. Again, the strong tackling continues. The umpire says that ball was disposed of correctly. Somehow the Sharks get a bit of a scruffy kick outside now. This is Urseg. She's been busy and holding the ball, said the umpire, so incorrect disposal.
She just turned back inside, trying to get to that right foot rather than just jamming that inside-outside right one down the line, which you see so successfully done by the Fremantle Dockers in the last AFLW season, where they just drove. And Sarah Garstone trained under Trent Cooper as well in the State 18s, and she's very good at driving the line with that inside-outside kick.
So the ball lands kindly at the feet there of Versace, but they're going to lose the possession again. O'Sullivan there, just giving a little nudge to her opponent at the moment. A couple of smothered hand passes. Again, head over the footy there was Jess Lowe, but the Sharks get the kick inside now, in towards a contest. So there's going to be a lot to ask here of the number 23 on debut. That's Jessica Eales, so a former netballer, getting her first taste of action as the clearing kick comes out towards the broadcast wing. Time to operate a manoeuvre, and the kick just spilled at the wrong time there from Atkins, but fed it off to the teammate there, and Seth. Seth can load up towards centre half forward. Well shark there, no pun intended by Riley, but that kick was smothered. So leading the chase now for the Tigers is Valentini. Stoops down to pick up. She's met with a bit of front-on pressure. They finally get that clearing kick again. Out towards another one-on-one contest, out towards the wing. Oh, that hand pass was dangerous. Going to be chopped off by McMahon, so can run and measure. Now they've got a number over the top here, the Sharks. That's Tapner, but she's set upon by two Tigers. Can they keep it alive? No, they'll be grateful and breathe a sigh of relief as they just step over the line. That was Sarah Garstone, but they looked to be in there through Tapner, but couldn't find her feet.
Just a little kick to advantage. Tigers absolutely under siege. These backs are going to be needing some sustenance at quarter time.
Great play from Wong, just managing to get that ball and lowering the eyes and finding the chest of Anne McMahon, who's kicked 4. In fact, 3 of those were against the Tigers here at Revo Fitness Stadium back in round 10. So she knows where the big sticks are here in Claremont, and a chance to register the first goal for East Fremantle, and probably deservedly their first lead of the game. So no real breeze to speak of. Well within range, McMahon drops it onto the right boot. Now the goal umpire dancing a long way to his left, and that's through for a minor score, and that was a gettable one, and they dodge a bullet, the Tigers.
They do, and Anne McMahon, a very good kick of the footy, highly skilled footballer. I didn't say anything because I didn't want to
put the mockers.
The Sharks coaching box next to us. They'll hold me accountable for that on Sunday afternoon, but the Tigers the damn wall's going to burst here. The Tigers, they cannot get what they need out of the midfields to clear the ball. So
Garstone clears the defensive 50 arc. Gooch in on the scene. That was a clever little tap out the side door looking for Jumanis. Jumanis taken without the footy, and she rightfully earns the free kick, so the Sharks will get a chance to load up again, as we've got exactly 2 minutes remaining in this opening term. 1-1 to 4 behinds after Laura Pugh receiving a hand pass, the only goal kicker today, and that kick left a lot to be desired. Again, chopped off in defence this time for the Tigers. And on debut is Jessica Eels, who moves the play neatly and finds Valentini. So this is the kick that's let the Tigers down, but that one is beautifully measured. And the Tigers, this would really break the heart of the Sharks, having so many repeat entries inside 50 to maybe get one against the flow of the play, Clint.
Well, the issue is that's a deep forward taking a mark at half-back. So the midfielders have rolled back. And they can't travel. So consequently, with their deepest, most dangerous forward taking marks at half-back, they've got nowhere to give it to the next kick. So Claremont really hurting themselves here by just their field structure.
So the Sharks player dumped in the tackle.
It comes from a good place, of course. It comes from effort and willingness to help, but it's just got to be an element of trust.
That's a decisive whack down. Back into the hands there of Germanis, who can spin around and kick up towards the wing. Again, neat skills from O'Reilly, who can kick around the corner up towards centre half forward. That's an awkward tumbling kick at the moment.
It's a very good one-on-one win against Roxanne Roux because she's dynamite in that area of the ground.
So maybe a final chance for the Sharks now with 35 seconds remaining. That kick's going to fall short, but into the hands again of the Sharks player, who swings it around up towards the pocket and through out of bounds. So it'll be a boundary throw in now. 22 seconds, no time added on, just 18-minute terms. And might be a chance for a quick grab it out of the ruck sort of situation onto the boot. We'll see if the Tigers can stand up. If they do, it'll be a fair effort.
The Sharks have got Roux in the right spot. McMahon lurking closely too.
So we'll see how this falls. Laurie elects for the double fist out towards to make that angle tighter. And there sounds the siren. That was dominated territory-wise by the East Fremantle Sharks, but not on the scoreboard. Claremont at the first change leading by 3 points, 1-1-7 to East Fremantle, 4 behinds. The thoughts very briefly of Clint Degebrot.
Oh, I think I've just started to give away the quarter time talk. Claremont's so keen to help out their backs that they rolled back into their back half. It meant they couldn't travel. Most of the time they couldn't even exit their 50. So have to have a good look at quarter time. Andrew Di Loretto and his back coaches, just to have a look at where they want to stand in terms of their exit. So exiting on the 45 nicely, the Tigers, but the representation in those spots are all the Sharks. So it just means that they've got probably 9 or 10 players trapped between the wings and the full back line. Very hard to travel. And
the goal-kicking woes that are brought up pre-game, again, at this stage, seem to be cursing East Fremantle. So quarter time here at Revo Fitness Stadium in Claremont. It's the home Tigers by 3 points. We'll be right back with all the action of the second term very shortly.
It's great to be back in the West. I've obviously been over in Sydney for a couple of years, and to be home in the nice weather and even better in the blue and gold is fantastic. Yeah, I was an inaugural part of the Giants squad in the first year, so been over there for the last 3 years and I guess experienced what it's like to be part of a new team and building something from the ground. So we've got time now, we're in the competition, we can build towards something really special, and I think that comes off the back of the first couple of years and just creating somewhere that everyone wants to be and play some good footy.
Nature knows it's better to be part of a group than out on your own. To be surrounded by others whose sole purpose is to keep you safe and well. At Bupa, we call it Members First. A network of thousands of healthcare providers, all there for you. Search Bupa Members First.
If you need it live streamed, you need Front Row Screens. Visit frontrowscreens.com.au.
There's a high ball. Don't you diddle, don't you daddle, you better skedaddle. You need to run for your life. Well, like Virginia Creeper, we didn't want to keep her, just maybe for a while.
Highlights here of Revo Fitness Stadium. It is the final round, round 15 of the WAFLW season, and some of the highlights in a low-scoring game, but a lot of scoring shots, Clint Daggerbrook.
On the back of those repeat entries, there was just must have been 15, 16 of them in the end. Just the goal kicking woes for the Sharkies are just in contrast to how good they are with their hands and their field kicking solid. They break the game open by their hands, 1, 2, 3s. Atkins a couple of times, I think once she accepted the contact. 2 other times she knew it was coming, just a flip handball to Ashton Hill clear. It's just that steady in front of goals. I know it can be something that happens. The way East Fremantle are playing is easier. The way Claremont are playing is attractive in terms of their backs, but it's very difficult to play. So, again, I think it tells the story of being 22 points up and being overrun. At the moment, the backs are staunch, but they're working too hard. Yeah, and as you were saying in the first term, the half forwards playing very, very high up the ground and not giving them much to kick to further down the field. It's really hard to set that up, and anyone that's played any sport, basketball, any invasion game knows that you want to go and help your teammates, but a way to help your teammate, of course, is to pull someone out of that contest and go stand in the correct spot and form that link or chain to goal. Claremont don't have a pathway to a physical chain to goal at the moment. They've got good one-on-ones behind the footy, a couple of players in mid-water, and then if there's any inaccuracy with that connection kick, it's going back East Fremantle's way. So Justin Lepich 100 years ago when he was a player said, as a back, you have to be selfish because you have to be able to get a break. So he really advocated for the 20-metre pass to chest, 25-metre passes to chests, so that you could get structured up as a back line. You could decide to run and drag your forwards away, or you could get one-on-one and get a breather. Couple of live wire players in the forward line for the Sharks. Chloe Riley was one of those, obviously not capitalising on opportunities. We saw some tough tackling and good marking from Versace as well. Tapner has been sort of lively as well, but they've missed a couple of set shots in the early stages, have the Sharks. They have. They've been very, very dangerous up forward, and I think it's been tough down there because of the quality of the Tigers' backs. Garstone stood up strong. Orm's been very busy. Laurie back there's been a key part of what's working down there. Sophie McDonald's been solid as well. A couple of times one-on-one with her 18s teammate, likely draftable both. So it's a good battle down there, but you can't play the game in your own half and be successful. So Claremont have to come up to the face of the contest, win the ball. Unfortunately, it's become a cliche at the source. Yeah, and the Sharks are dominating the centre bound. Well, any sort of stoppages around the middle of the ground and at half forward as well. And as we said, don't want to sound like a broken record, but Emily Bonser out of the lineup is really a telling sign for the Tigers at the moment. Ellie Lampkin just trying to get some of our expert insights. Yeah, I don't think she needs anything from us. They're pretty. That box in there's got Joe Beachy and Simon Quayle. And Nikki Harwood, of course, level 3 coach. There's some brains and football experience and ability in that box, that's for sure. They don't need help, and I think they'd be pretty satisfied. And I think they'd also know that capitalise on those shots. That's 4 goals to 1. It's almost game over at the end of the first quarter. But credit to Claremont's backs, but you can't win it with your backs. So ready to start the second term. Revo Fitness Stadium, 3-year deal. Wonderful stuff for Revo Fitness, who apparently were one of the very early partners in the redevelopment here at Claremont Oval. And the facility that they operate here for both their players and the public is terrific. So congratulations to all involved with that signing of that deal. Here come the Tigers, a rare entry inside 50. Perfect conditions. The ground a little slippery underfoot with the early bounce down. So hand pass received out the back. Getting put under a lot of pressure there was the 32 in Ashley, but the ball's going to be kept alive on that outer side. And the umpire has pinged holding the ball. So good front on pressure again. This will be Lowe. So Lowe looks in towards the pocket through the hands of her teammate, but good little hand pass out the back door. Snap around goal, won't register a score. It's off hands and out of play. Dicky will be satisfied with getting that out of bounds in the forward pocket there. Talk about live wires. Brooke White has been a lady of 21 years of age today. In the forward 50, in the forward half, and even doing some work across half back. So she's dangerous if the ball can stay in her area. It's been, I've been blown away by the skills of some of these players, and then finding out how old they are, and actually, and how obviously, very young in their careers, particularly at this level with the inaugural season. But players like
Michaela Hyde at Swan Districts. It's just a wonderful future for women's football.
That's
in
right.
WA.
The highly skilled players tend to be the younger ones. There's a couple of terrific exceptions, players that have played for a very long time, like Ebony Antonio. Very, very highly skilled.
Yep.
But the older ones bring the intent, the intensity, and the physical pressure.
Yep.
So the couple's very good between the two.
So the Tigers looking to set something up here in the right forward pocket. They won't do it with that hand pass. It's chopped off. They clear it outside defensive 50. Waiting for a kind bounce of the ball was Orm, but it went over her head, and that opened the door for the Sharks. So out towards us here in the broadcast wing. Further kick forward by Atkins. Hongel just running out of space there, but did well in the end. Still tracking that bouncing football, and she's set upon by two Sharks. No prior opportunity.
That transition of the ball movement's terrific. Claremont having the ball inside 50 for the longest length of time they have in this game, but then East Fremantle in two kicks are clear.
So Colgate going nowhere from this stoppage. Another ball up.
Good.
She's been a ball magnet, particularly in the last 3 weeks. We've broadcast a few of the Tigers game. I've liked her tenacity around the football.
Yeah, highly skilled footballer. Probably one of the highest skilled footballers in the comp, ball in hand.
So ball coming up. One down there by the swinging arm of Bowie. And good pressure right there from Colgate, right on demand. Kicking up towards half forward. O'Sullivan just using that strong frame. Did beautifully. They play that little hand pass, but the third one was a little too cute and was chopped off. Good mark. Going back with the flight of the ball is Ashley Atkins. In the bright sunshine, spears the ball inside, and the mark's not paid. We'll get the DRS review onto that, because that looked to be above ground more so than Joe Root's catch that he claimed in the second test.
Just working a sledge on him, the captain.
Well, we can in this position that we're in at the moment. So the Tigers clear their lines out towards the outer side. Smith on the scene. Haven't called much of her this afternoon.
I've been spending a lot of time thinking how I'd face Cummings and Archer. And I think it would be my strategy would be to kick my stumps over on the run up.
Definitely. Having been a number 11 bat myself, I would be coming up with different ways. Maybe just loosening the helmet so I can fall on the bails.
Something asked that question. How would you go about facing Archer? I said, kick me stumps over. Absolutely.
Well, there's some interesting footage coming online during the week of him playing in the Premier League in Tasmania 2 years ago as a leg spinner.
Yes.
So he can do it all, Joffrey. He's a bright talent. As the ball comes in now, and O'Sullivan starting to get busy and active now. Her hand pass to Wong. Now she gets away from the would-be tackler, feigns the hand pass, left foot snap right to the teeth of goal, and through for a minor score. And that was an exciting passage of play from Wong, just selling candy.
Speaking of talent, you've got East Fremantle have got Gooch, Atkins, Seth, and O'Sullivan around the ball on all these occasions, and there's some supreme WFLW talent, and of course all AFLW listed.
So the Sharks again just struggling to get that clean disposal. Linking up there with Timmers and also Roden Zimdale as the ball tumbles out of play. So just the one minor score, 0-5 to 1-1. So it's almost a death by 1,000 paper cuts at the moment. They're trying to edge their way back into the contest. That's a shallow boundary throw in into the hands there of Colgate, but she's met front on by Atkins, and Pugh sliding in on hands and knees. Ushered over the boundary line as well by Philippa Seth.
Stoppages for Claremont.
Yep. So the ball back into the middle. We apologise for any technical difficulties at the moment. Laura Pugh sliding in. Sure my partner at home would love a mute button in the lounge room at times. Ball comes up. Gooch, so strong through the hip area, just busting through a couple of tackles so far this afternoon, but going nowhere there was Seth. Dumped in a very good tackle there by Zadnik, and Colgate can get that left boot up towards the contest. Sharks' bodywork again's been a feature of their play. This is Gooch. She's starting to get active now. Another disposal, and that's a clean one and a good mark by Anne McMahon. So McMahon kicking up towards O'Sullivan and also in the lead for Rouge. Hasn't really had any clean sort of space to try and get a possession in the forward line, and Claremont a chance now again to clear, but it'll come back through Wong. Wong getting set upon, but that's very good vision. Finds now Seth, who can run her measure, just lowers the eyes into the pocket. O'Sullivan, the intended target. Pugh and Hongel getting back, but that hand pass is going to be smothered. So the Sharks again kicking up towards a one-on-one. How will the ball bounce? It's going to be an interesting contest here, but the Tigers stand firm for now. Good forward line pressure from Spark. Looks to tie the ball in now. Sharks outnumbered 2-1 seemingly. Now that's going to be a high shot and a free kick going the way of East Fremantle, so they catch a break there. And finally, will they get some reward? It's yet to be seen. So getting ahead over the football there was Ashley Atkins winning the free kick. Not sure if it was there.
To be inside, but not here to commentate the umpires. Atkins, good for a right footer, and solid strike of the football.
Yep.
And been in this situation before, kicked the first goal ever at Optus Stadium.
Oh, wow. So looking for a third of the season. That one looks beautiful off the boot. And they finally, on their sixth shot at goal, have kicked their first major, and that is a classy finish. Never looked like missing off the boot.
She likes a sausage, that's for sure, Atkins, and celebrates as well as anybody. But reward for effort, and it's nice to see the Sharkies settle and get over their leg and get what they deserve there. In the resets, Claremont have been okay with their ball movement forward, and it seems to be very difficult for them to then travel through the box to get it back.
Finally, it's taken 27 minutes or thereabouts for the Sharks to hit the front. There's Gooch again at the coalface, dumping her opponent in the tackle. Valentini this time.
Immediately, there's the two Sharks wingers are defensive 45s.
So they get a clearance to the Tigers. Can they respond? Because the Sharks have had 6 scoring shots for just the 1 goal. So the kick coming out towards Gooch, just stepping onto the ground there right at the right time was Goodwin Wissing. So she can load up inside 50. Good body work. Juggling effort there by Laurie. She's been pushed forward. Little clever hand pass being set upon. That's good, strong tackle, but it's going to end up in the hands of the Tigers player. Running into the open goal is Goodwin Wissing, and the immediate response from the Tigers through sheer effort and sheer weight of numbers, they finally get that responding goal.
We've got Dan Cadlick and Andrew Di Loretto giving each other the thumbs up. A very, very timely substitution. And they've thrown Amber Goodwin. She's got two possessions in the space of 10
one on the
seconds.
wing and ends up with a nice goal. But that was great forward line pressure and a clever hand pass as well to the runner.
Alana Dickey just stood strong in that tackle and just worked her hands free to release to the runner. It's good, strong work, and that's what we talk about with our older players. They're physically capable of putting their head and shoulders over the ball, withstanding that pressure.
So the team sitting 3 and 4, showing it. The arm wrestle continues. Claremont wrestle the lead back 2-1 to 1-5. That's a decisive spike on the football rather. Clears the centre square in the end, and another ball up. Seems as though Claremont have just mixed up their structure on the ball.
They have, and it's interesting what they're doing with Laurie too. She looks to be on the ball now after spending some time back and then forward.
Yep.
So I think that's a very good move from Di Loretto.
Bit of a Swiss Army knife, can play different areas of the ground.
She's at that height, and she's got the ability to read the play and the flight. That she's pretty effective wherever she goes. And she's competitive for the football.
Speaking of effective, there was Evie Gooch again, setting up another foray forward. That's an interesting attempt on the footy because they've socketed it the wrong way at the moment of the Tigers. But as a feature of their game so far this afternoon has been withstanding this attack, so they can clear through Garstone, but it'll only be momentarily. So Gooch, now she just stepped over the mark, so that allowed a chance there for Pugh to come in and smother the football. So good, not giving up on the play there, and the Tigers can get a clearance. One-on-one marking contest. Good spoil on the footy there from the Sharks player. Getting spun out in the tackle, stooping down to pick up there was Plushke. Off to a teammate, they can kick up towards right half forward. One-on-one contest. Again, the Tigers standing up. Bit of a hot hand pass inboard, asking a lot there of Garstone. Her kick not really effective coming out And the Sharks, another chance to reload. So out the side door, this is Gimanis. Gimanis up towards a 2-on-1. The Sharks player may be held. The umpire's letting them play. They've done a superb job so far this afternoon as they kick it out towards this broadcast wing. That's a clean pair of hands. That was superb. The Tigers again now. Now it's a 3-on-3 with no one inside the arc of 50, but the numbers and the attack of the footy there from Rachel Ashley it was, but a hand pass left a lot to be desired. Again, the Sharks hunting in packs at this stage. Oh, big solid bump there on the footy from Roxanne Rue, and the Tigers player is down, and they're calling for immediate assistance. We don't like to see that. It was a fair contest, but Roxanne Rue getting ahead over the footy there.
Yeah, nice and strong-bodied Roxanne attacking the footy. It's one of those ones where once you pay a high one, they're probably all high.
Yep.
She looks to be just gathering a wit slower. It's a tough young player, strong-bodied. So umpire's doing the right thing here and just calling a halt to proceedings just so we can get the injured player clear.
So Rodin Zimdale, we hope she's okay under the assistance from the runners. So we're back now with live pictures and we'll have another ball up. 1-5 to 2-1 inside 6 minutes.
See, we've got rugby league set up now too. We've got Claremont on one side of the stoppage and East Freo on the other. East Freo win the tap to Claremont. And the same problem that Claremont have had the whole time.
No one at home.
There's no one forward of the ball.
So kick out towards the wing and Versace, but it was through her arms. Does well. Her follow-up tackling has been a feature of the game and forces another ball up rather.
The balance of numbers at this stoppage is better. Just a little lapse in concentration perhaps for both teams.
Gooch, again, just steps through two tackles. Hand pass was a little too hot to handle there for Gimanis. Tigers will look to rebound in the middle of the ground. Strong dumping tackle there from Ashton Hill. Tigers get that clearing kick, however. No one at home. Running onto the footy there was Erin Fox. Looks to neatly stab the ball out, but it's over. Floating over the head there of her teammate in Plushke, and it'll be intercepted by the Tigers.
Okay, well that's the kick that we've missed today from the Tigers, and it's Goodwin Wissick, no surprise, who's up and about. We've got representation in front of the footy now too, the Tigers, so in a good position here.
Big fly at the footy there from Roxanne Rue. Couldn't take the mark. This is Arnott. Bit of a blind hand pass. They play the 1-2. Good smother on the footy now. So can the Sharks try and muster up something late? And a good spinning tackle. And another ball up.
So just Claremont a couple of times across this half have just turned inside on the right foot too early.
Yep.
And that one there just channeled that ball to be smothered when it should have just been driven straight down the line.
Sharks with another chance now. Awkward ball. The ground's starting to dry up now. This is Hongel. Now she got through one tackle and took on the second tackle unsuccessfully. So the Sharks win the free kick and a chance to kick up towards centre half forward. Good spoil on the football there by the centre half back in Garstone, but numbers favour the Sharks. So a swinging hand pass. Going to be received. Little kick up to the one-on-one. Leading player through the arms. Garstone getting back. Fires off the hand pass. Now the umpire said it was a throw. So the Sharks win the free kick. And the Tigers player pleading with the umpire, but I think it was the right decision in the end. So Kate Ormond was not happy with the decision, but the umpire right on the scene, and the Sharks a chance for a set shot.
And this is Steph Spark. I talked up her kicking ability before, so just test my knowledge of our players within WAFLW. But again, that chain of handballs just broke open the defence of the Tigers through the middle or the back end of the square.
Has kicked 6 goals in 2019 in the inaugural season, and you can make that 7.
Anytime she gets the footy around 30 metres, it's big trouble.
Yep.
So far been well held, and just a free kick and capitalised. She's got good hands too out in front of her face. Hopefully we get to see that. She needs a bit of clean ball in, but an impressive user of the ball once in hand. East Fremantle just broke the box open just with the chain of handballs there, and Gooch has been a real driver of that.
I've noticed that East Fremantle have a more predominantly a handballing team.
The back feed really well. There's two they look to be playing wings 45, so that they're able to dump that ball directly back, and then they can choose left or right side of the ground to attack.
Gabby O'Sullivan literally just stepping back on and goes straight into the forward 50 arc, so handy to have a player of her ilk having a rest and then coming straight back on after a goal. This is Wong. That was superb. There it is again. that hand-passing ability from East Fremantle. Tumbling ball's going to be marked there by the number 9 in Atkins. So Atkins kicks to a big pack of players. Again, good spoil on the footy there from McDonald. Sharks with numbers, going one way than the other. There was Riley running out of room, but gets an effective kick. Now Versace may have been held there. Now the Tigers slide in. Has it been carried over the line? It has finally. And through for a minor score. So Versace providing to be a good target there, as Orm will run a measure, clears their defensive lines. No marks taken. It's going to be coming back with interest, but from the Sharks. A little hand pass inside. Now they've got numbers on the arc of 50. Drop mark there. Opens the door for the Tigers to try and clear through Low. Her hand pass intercepted. And a high shot delivered by the Tigers. So they've given away a few free kicks. This is to Wong. She gets corralled, and that maybe influenced the kick. And Hongel sits under the floating ball, takes the intercepting mark.
Tigers are playing a couple of players short at the moment because you've got Tiger down behind play and 2 Tigers making sure she's okay.
Tinson kicks them back forward. Again, chopped off by the Tigers. 2-on-2 contest. Coming in and laying a good shepherd there was Erin Fox, but the Tigers can gather the football. Going in on hands and knees was Arnott. And they bottle it up again as we approach the final 25 seconds of this term. Highly entertaining game so far.
It is. It's Wong that I think during that corral of Wong down there. She looks like she's turned a lower leg.
Yep.
Hopefully it's a stinger and we'll get her back. Umpire just pointing the wrong way, and Kim Bowie was going to jump all over that.
Could have given away a 50, so that will close the book on 2 entertaining terms as we head into the main change with East Fremantle in the lead. They trailed Claremont by 3 points at quarter time, but a very handy second term where they kicked 2 goals. In fact, they kicked 2 goals to just the 1 straight, and they have a 5-point lead heading into the main break, Clint.
Oh, I think definitely. Claremont, when they had their chance to goal, moved the ball really, really well. They're a good kicking team, and they look to blow East Fremantle set up out of the water when they're prepared to kick and catch. East Fremantle, though, once they get it in tight, they shift the ball by hand left and right. They pick a side, they pick a pathway, and they attack the corridor as quickly as they can, and they reap the rewards of that quarter. A very, very good kick too from Atkins and then Spark. Which is the difference, I guess, between the first and the second, as they got their rewards in the second quarter. All
right, time for a very quick breather here at Revo Fitness Stadium in Claremont. When we come back, we'll dissect all the action of the first half.
If you need it live streamed, you need Front Row Screens. Visit frontrowscreens.com.au.
Nature knows it's better to be part of a group than out on your own. To be surrounded by others whose sole purpose is to keep you safe and well. At Bupa, we call it Members First. A network of thousands of healthcare providers, all there for you. Search Bupa Members First.
It's a high ball. Don't you diddle, don't you daddle, you better skedaddle. You need to run for your life. Well, like Virginia Creeper, well, didn't want to keep her, just maybe for a while. You're the lady.
It's great to be back in the West. I've obviously been over in Sydney for a couple of years, and to be home in the nice weather and even better in the blue and gold is fantastic. Yeah, I was an inaugural part of the Giants squad in the first year, so been over there for the last 3 years and I guess experienced what it's like to be part of a new team and building something from the ground. So we've got time now, we're in the competition, we can build towards something really special, and I think that comes off the back of the first couple of years and just creating somewhere that everyone wants to be and play some good footy.
Some of the pictures for the second term here at Revo Fitness Stadium in Claremont. And the main break, it is East Fremantle, the visitors, leading by 5 points. So much at stake, and we'll get to the ladder very, very shortly. But East Fremantle finally, Clint Degebrot, capitalising on some good work in their forward 50.
Yeah, the East Fremantle box, which we're sitting really close to, has been happy throughout the whole game. They look like they're just going to back their players to get on top using their skills. And
well, Wong was instrumental in that, but we saw her under the aid rather of the trainers being helped off the ground at halftime. So hopefully it's not a serious injury.
It's never good indication when an opposition player actually runs over to see if you're okay.
Yep.
It means they've heard something or.
Evie Gooch, really active. I mean, she had a decent first term, but really a lot of possessions, but not wasted possessions either. She was firing off hand passes and not just the shallow forward 50 entries, really pumping them into attack.
And a couple of her hand passes hit the deck, and they're on purpose.
Yep.
She goes underneath their hands, and they scoot out to the runners. She's very strong over the football. She's a classic sort of Victorian cinnamon. You know, the long sleeves. You reckon she's been covered in mud from sort of ankles to waist because she just does all the hard work. I know that Fremantle Football Club really, really enjoy her work there, and she's been terrific for East Fremantle this season and particularly today.
Let's go through the goal kickers. Firstly, to the Sharks, who are in front, 8 scoring shots to 3 because they lead 2-6 to 2-1. But Ashley Atkins kicking 1 and Stephanie Spark also. The goal kickers was Laura Pugh, the first goal of the day from 40 metres on the run, and Amber Goodwin-Wissink. That was an interesting goal that she literally stepped off the interchange gate, took a possession, uncontested, followed the action, and handball received. Next thing, she's kicking a goal on the left peg.
That was very good from a lady that's been a deep back for most of her life.
So there are the shots. We're going to take a very short break here. But firstly, there's been no bigger contributor to the success of the Claremont Football Club than WA Football Hall of Fame legend Graham Moss. Thanks to Bupa, we caught up with Mossy to hear about his football journey and recent transition into a healthy and active retirement.
My journey probably started when I was about 10 years of age, when Mum used to take me down to Claremont Oval, sit up the bank behind the ground and watch my heroes of the day play football. I lived in the Claremont area, so I played all my junior football in Claremont Junior Football Club. Got invited down in 1968 to play under-19s, and that year we actually won a premiership. And the following year, played every league game, continued to play for Claremont until I left and went to Essendon in 1973. Played 4 seasons for Essendon. I won the Brownlow in 1976. Claremont asked me whether I'd be interested in coming back and coaching and playing for the club, and I always wanted to come back and finish my football career with Claremont.
Graham is probably the biggest icon of our footy club. As a player, as a coach and as an administrator, his impact has been enormous. For all his amazing achievements, he's such a humble man. I know if I won a Brownlow medal, I'd be telling everyone about it.
I retired as a player in 73, we continued to coach. I coached for 10 years. I spent 3 very hard working years as CEO of Claremont. Haven't had really time to think about the fact that I'm maybe retired, but just keep myself active from a health point of view and a mental point of view. When I finished playing, I wanted to make sure I didn't let myself go, so I've maintained a fairly active life, both in the gym and the sports that I participate in, particularly sailing. I grew up with sailing dinghies and then bigger boats, so I sailed to Sydney Hobart in 1995, and I'm now sailing at Royal Freshwater Bay Yacht Club on a 40-foot Swan Nautor, and I really enjoy that. Sailing is a team sport, as is football, and unless you get your crew work together, you're not going to win. We're very competitive when we get on the water. When we get off the water, we're very social.
He loves his sailing, he loves spending time with his grandkids, and every now and then he drops in a heap of crayfish at the footy club, which is fantastic. So I'm enjoying his retirement just as much, I think.
I enjoy going back to the football club. I like going down there and just poking my nose in to see how things are going. I don't consider myself to be retired, fully retired. It's very important to stay active, to hopefully live a long and fulfilling life.
Half time here at Revo Fitness Stadium. Brantley rather just brand new name for Revo Fitness Stadium. Wonderful supporters, obviously, of the Claremont Footy Club. One of the first companies to commit to the new redevelopment here. And Matt Chechens and Clint Degerbright just having a look at the ladder currently. Subiaco sewing up the minor premiership with a win over Claremont last week, and they will roll in confidently. They've got Peel to conclude the final round of the season, but they've had a great year.
Yeah, definitely. Subiaco have been front runners from the very beginning. They've come. Well, I've said this before. I think they cotton onto the 16 side quicker.
Yep.
I think they rotated their list and got their age and positional profiles.
So Swan District's waiting with bated breath. They wouldn't like the scoreboard at the moment, because if an East Fremantle win today sees them leapfrog them into second, and the double chance. We'll get to the finals format very shortly, but Claremont with a win today, as we said, so much at stake, because they can actually jump up to third and then host an elimination final against their opponents today. Yeah,
Sharks, it's a far easier pathway for them. There's a couple of availability issues that will be supported by their win today.
Yep.
I don't think Swan Districts will be too nervous. They're playing some sensational football at the right time of the year. I think the ladder position for them, regardless of sort of what happens, they've got their best team on the park at the right time of the year.
Now, Ellie Lampkin, I'm not sure if she wanted to sort of maybe give me one of the ribs last week during commentary, but I sort of said that Swan Districts were my smoky for the flag, and I'm impartial as anyone, but I just like their spread of goal kickers so far this year.
They're the best teams.
Yep.
Best team on the park wins the day, doesn't it?
So let's have a look at the WAFLW finals format. So starting next week will be first versus second. So at this stage, it will be Subiaco taking on East Fremantle. If Claremont get up, it will be Subiaco taking on Swan Districts, and then the loser getting the prelim final. The winner going straight through the grand final. So a fairly big prize for the winner of that second semi-final.
It means there's 2 games left of the year for Subiaco, which is just terrific for them. If they can do it that way, of course, whoever gets to win that game does just have the final game of the season, whereas the pathway in for the other side's a bit tougher.
Yep, and then obviously third versus fourth have to play effectively elimination finals right through to the big dance, which will be played at Mineral Resources Park Saturday, September 14. Right, time for our final break before the third term gets underway. It's the Sharks by 5. Can the Tigers bite back? We'll be right back.
If you need it live streamed, you need Front Row Screens. Visit frontrowscreens.com.au.
Nature knows it's better to be part of a group than out on your own. To be surrounded by others whose sole purpose is to keep you safe and well. At Bupa, we call it Members First. A network of thousands of healthcare providers, all there for you. Search Bupa Members First.
It's a high ball. Don't you diddle, don't you daddle, you better skedaddle. You need to run for your life. Well, like Virginia Creeper, well, didn't want to keep her, just maybe for a while. You're lately in a hurdle. Well, I feel that day.
It's great to be back in the West. I've obviously been over in Sydney for a couple of years, and to be home in the nice weather and even better in the blue and gold is fantastic. Yeah, I was an inaugural part of the Giants squad in the first year, so been over there for the last 3 years and I guess experienced what it's like to be part of a new team and building something from the ground. So we've got time now, we're in the competition, we can build towards something really special, and I think that comes off the back of the first couple of years and just creating somewhere that everyone wants to be and play some good footy.
Live pictures of Revo Fitness Stadium here in Claremont, and it is the visitors by 5 points. A lot at stake, as we said just before that break. East Fremantle by 5 points. Beautiful, ideal conditions at the moment, and the ground finally starting to dry.
That's a really, really nice day to play football here today. That breeze is a little chilly, but the players are...
Just having some technical difficulties with my co-commentator's microphone at the moment. Swan District's players who've got their WAFL men's fixture and are waiting for both teams to actually come out and commence their warm-ups for this second half. 2 goals 6 to 2 goals 1 at the moment. And as we said, ideal conditions at the moment.
What's going on? I'm back.
Welcome back, Clint Deckerbright.
I just was off in the ether just for a minute, just talking to myself off in cyberspace. I probably had with all my friends in my fan club out there, nobody. Terrific conditions to play. The cooling breeze, which will keep the players happy. Good to see Sharon Wong just making her way back up under her own power and using both her legs. It looks like she might have got a stinger, which we were all hoping for. Obviously, for me, the question that we asked off air was, what happens now? And what happens now is, I think East Fremantle trust themselves to continue. East Fremantle in their own half. So Claremont will be looking to push up at the contest, I hope. I think that's what Andrew Di Loretto would have instructed. So bring everyone up a line. If you've been lining up 30 metres out defensively, come to 60. Bring your 60 to 90. Bring your 90 to 110. And see if you can't trap East Fremantle in their own half for a little period of time, which they did initially in that first half. And in the 2 wins, they were able to control the perimeter and trap East Fremantle in their own back 50. So that's... Claremont will have to come up at the ball now, play a lot higher. Sharks will back themselves to be able to work through that, though. So with their use of hands and their high skills through the midfield, I think they'll look to side their way through that if Claremont bring their team up.
Yet to step on to the field to begin their warm-ups, the Sharks.
It's backed themselves here.
So yet to kick a goal in the 2019 season, and that will have to wait a little bit longer as the ball falls right at the teeth of goal. Volleyed out of thin air. That was Atkins, something that you'd probably see at Anfield or Old Trafford, literally out of the air, volleying it for one of the goals of the season.
It's interesting to see Riley was unsure that that's what she wanted to do. She was looking to hand the ball off, but such a dangerous long ball into such a highly talented forward line too. Chloe Riley done the right thing by her team. You see this across the ground, the structure here is East Fremantle have created a direct line through the corridor to goal, whereas Claremont, in the quest to try and keep their forwards in front of the footy, they're playing the 5 in their bowl down. It was a pentagram at the moment.
Yep.
So two different setups, and it's going to be all about the centre bounce now. So we'll test Claremont's forward structure now.
Colgate kicks the Tigers forward, up towards centre half forward. Going nowhere in the tackles, Goodwin Wissink, who kicked that remarkable goal in the second term, literally stepping up off the interchange gates, but she has to hand it over to the umpire this time. Swinging arm there from Bowie. Kicks further forward, inside 50 now for the Tigers. Running out of room there was Laurie, slung in the tackle. Effective hand pass was given away. Was that in the back? No, said the umpire. Players converge at the moment, and a stalemate at full forward. We've got a ball up. 11 points is the biggest lead for either team throughout the afternoon.
Finally, Claremont have got that perimeter set up. It's taken a little while.
So another hand pass coming out now. Right on the paint of 50. Swinging around was Dickey, kicking up towards the square, just paddling the ball back to her own advantage. There the Sharks defender, but the hand pass too hot to handle. So putting her own teammate under a fair bit of pressure. And the clearing kick will come out, and it just pitches inside the line. So won't be turned over with a free kick.
Must have been touched as well. East Fremantle looking structured up really nicely for this boundary throw in. Claremont haven't quite rounded up their oppo yet.
Shallow throw in from the umpire. No decisive hit from the ruckman. This is Gooch, clearly the leading ball winner on the ground so far this morning. Hongel towing the tarmac on that outer side. Did brilliantly, kept the ball alive. Gave a nice little 10-metre hand pass to boot as well. So that gives the chance now the Tigers to kick inside. That's a very awkward ball. Clean bowling, 2 players. It's going to end up in a goal for the Tigers. So going goal for goal at the moment. That tumbling ball inside 50. Clint Degebrot nutmegging 2 players, 1 on each team, and resulting in the goal for the Sharks, kicked by Zoe Timmers.
Hopefully everyone on the side there is going to give Hongel a pat on the back, because it was her attack on the football and control of the ball, plus her clever decision-making.
At pace as well.
She doesn't do anything slowly, though. She is one fast twitch muscle fibre. But Delana Dickey too, clever ball in, just getting the ball in nice and long and deep and dangerous. And that's what both the Sharks and the Tigers need to do to make sure their shots are easier. Claremont, the impetus is on them to get the ball in quicker and longer, of course, because they haven't had the entries that the Sharks have.
So how good is this curtain raiser effectively to next week's final, where these two teams could meet again with much more on the line as the ball comes out towards the wing. Again, just beautiful foot skills. Evading the tacklers there was Alana Dickey. Kicks up towards 50. Just going without the footy there was the Claremont player. Pugh, hand pass was smothered. They come piling in from all angles. East Fremantle again with that, trying to clear congestion with a hand pass. This is Colgate, or ran into a bit of a sticky position on the ground. Got the effective disposal away, however. Kicked up towards a 2-on-1. That favours the Tigers. Good backline pressure there from Plushke, but they still managed to gain a bit of territory to the Tigers. Front on pressure, and the Sharks will, well, turn it over straight away. Back into the hands of Colgate, usually a lovely user of the football. Kicks out to really a bit of open space there at full forward. And the Sharks now a chance to clear, so they kick around the corner. Coming back again is Colgate. That's 3 possessions in the last minute. Now a bit of time and space and chance to sort of manoeuvre here at half forward if the ball will sit up kindly for Arnott, and she just ran out of room in the end under the assistance there of McMahon. Ushers her over the boundary line, but probably should have come to another entry inside 50. So the ball will come back into play. Claremont starting to really halve these clearances at the moment now. They must have addressed that at half time. What do you think, Clint?
Definitely. Their structure's better. They've got the numbers on both sides of the stoppage. Just a matter of reeling in the run and the handball and the breaking line work of the Sharks.
So here they come. That's a lovely little hand pass from Hill off to the teammate there. Rather, that was Lowe off to the teammate in Orme, and she spots a teammate and a chance to go back and give the Tigers back the lead.
And this is very important that Spanos gets the ball in hand. She lacks a little foot speed, particularly around Philippa Seth.
Yep.
So she can make the Sharks pay a little price here for some clumsy exits. There on the lowering of the eyes there, Matt. I reckon it might have been just a bit too much shin on the shin to foot ratio.
So we apologise for any technical difficulties with the commentary at the moment. Luckily, you've got at home some clear pictures to aid in what's been a tremendous game so far. Gang tackling again, Laura Pugh on the scene, and no Pryor, so another ball up.
Definitely addressed the numbers in front of the footy here. You can see there's 5 forwards forward of this ball. They're trusting their mids to get the ball in and trying to get some representation in front. Working so far.
Ducking the head there was the Claremont player in Urseg, going nowhere.
You can see the Claremont backs have moved their Sharks counterparts ahead of the footy too. It's been a feature of their early gameplay this season.
So O'Sullivan just at the back of this pack at the moment. The ball's going to travel in her direction now as she tracks back on the footy. Little soccer from danger there, but the Tigers will go inside 50. Little toe on the ball from Urseg. Hand pass now on the outside towards Dickey. Dickey was corralled, but can still get an effective disposal away right until she ran into Gabby O'Sullivan. Great front on tackle. Jarred the footy loose, and a player's been legged. So just going in with the ankle tap there. Rugby league style was Goodwin Wissink, and giving away the free kick to Tapner. So Tapner has been handy in front of the goals this year. It's kick 5. That's a great kick up towards the advantage of Atkins, but just couldn't rope in the mark, and a high
clumsy.
shot.
Yep. Very clumsy.
Free kick. So they play on. Atkins. Good mark going back with the flight of the ball, wasting no time. Dumped right as she kicked it there was McMahon, but not down the ground. Up to a 2-on-2. Clever hand pass, just missing the mark. His whistling pass was Carly Tapner, and the hand pass too hot to handle. In fact, he's maybe that kick had a bit too much onto the chest of Colgate. This is Hongel now, moving the ball up towards the wing. Bit of a kind bounce at the feet there of Brooke White, but out of play. Seeing it out there was Plushke, and she will take the free kick smack bang in front of the interchange gates here at Revo Fitness Stadium.
Looks like the players made that decision there, and the umpires agreed. Nice to see everyone getting along.
Yep. They've done a tremendous job this year. The umpires cannot fault them as they kick up towards Pugh. Not paid the mark. This is O'Sullivan looking to break lines with a hand pass there off to the teammate in Rue. Rue lowers the eyes and chisels off a kick. Beautiful. That was good build-up play from the Sharks.
Looks like Stephanie Spark, who's already taken 2 big steps around to open up that angle. Very clever forward play or forward craft.
The umpire's having none of it either.
I reckon she kept 1. She took 2. The umpire took 1 off her.
Has kicked 1 so far this season, has kicked 7 in the 2019 inaugural season of the WAFLW competition. Within range?
It's her full distance. She's within that 30, so a very accurate kick. Just got to make sure that she strikes it well and it carries.
So kick 1 at the other end in the second term. Can she kick 1 to the right of screen? This ball's dangerously close to the right hand upright, but through for a minor score. East Fremantle 3-7.
Not the strike she was after, just slid off that boot. Dangerous play again by the Sharks, though.
So the Tigers will bring it back in. High hanging kick, looking for Laurie. Flew. Couldn't complete the mark on this occasion. Pugh pushed off her kick. Colgate's kick was in turn smothered as well. Hand pass received now by Priestley. She hasn't had much of the footy this afternoon or an impact. The Tigers with a clearing kick. Out to a 2-on-1. ducking the head and copping one without the footy there. No, the umpire's saying play on. Strong tackle laid there by Urseg, jarring the footy loose. In on the scene also for the Tigers is Roden Zimdal. Looks to have recovered from that heavy knock from the second term, which is good to see.
Which indicates it probably wasn't on the noggin, which is really good. You've been a bit careful this season, Lara. There's so many injury worries. I think she's just making sure that she does a systems check each time she gets floored, because she played with injury over the last 2 years, and it cost her an operation and a lot of games of footy.
O'Sullivan, good work in tight, kicks up towards the advantage there of a teammate in Ashley Atkins, just goes with that socket kick again. She's already kicked one of those today, and that could be down the ground. So she was bundled off the footy as she volleyed it, kicked that sensational goal in the opening term, and that kicked down the ground. So a bit of ill discipline there from the Tigers, and it ends up in the fortuitous hands of Roxanne Rue.
Well, the last thing that the Tigers need is Roxanne Rue to be woken. She's just starting to have an impact on the game.
11 goals from 9 games. And you would say a mere formality for her. Gets close to the player on the mark and drops it right over the goal umpire's head. And just like that, the lead for East Fremantle doubled.
And you watch Roxanne Rue now. She had 3 or 4 touches of footy. She's flown it 2. She's kicked the sausage now. So she lights up on this confidence. She starts to get the adrenaline flowing, and she's very, very hard to stop.
Ashley Atkins, I've never seen a more cleaner volleyer of a ball, whether it be round or the oval ball. But that was a tremendous play, and obviously taking a whack as well, but that results in a goal.
It's a clean volley. It was also the textbook definition of a push in the back.
Yep. So the Tigers have responded when they've been asked the questions earlier. So that lead back out to 12 points. It hasn't been more than that throughout this morning's contest. So how will the Tigers stand up? No clear disposal again. We'll have another ball up. 4-7 to 3-1, so 11 scoring shots to 4. And East Fremantle renowned for their forward 50 entries. They've had more scoring shots than any other team throughout the 2019 season. Here's Gooch. Off to O'Sullivan. Those two work so well in a great tandem as they kick up towards 50. Going again off the deck is Ashley Atkins, playing a bit of Gaelic football this time, slung in a legal tackle this time towards the pocket. Going to ground there, the Tigers defender immediately set upon too high, so going in a little too overzealously there, the East Fremantle player. Ian Tinson giving away the free kick, so they move it dangerously across the goal face, but it's an effective kick. So Pugh has an early bounce, lovely clean disposal, spots a teammate who takes the mark, Roden Zimdal. She looks to move it further forward, and off hands will have a boundary throw in right next to the scoreboard. Beautiful looking ground now with the development.
It is. I've got
still with a bit of work to do to the right of screen, but those apartments over there. And
usually our booth tells me that I should buy a couple to keep telling them that I work in football.
Ball one down by the Tigers. Interesting hand pass coming out from that contest. Good strong tackling by Anne McMahon this time. And another stoppage.
Claremont in a good position here if they can get a slingshot going. This is what they like to do from this position of the ground. They're a half-back attacking side, so get a clearance here, and they might be able to peg one back in the last couple of minutes, although not going to happen.
So Ashton Hill, nice kick forward and a good, strong contested mark illegally. So again, the free kick given away by Tinson, so not a shot on goal. Instead, they get the clearing kicks to Valentini. Valentini moving it out wide. So they're just chipping away now.
Got the extra number now.
Yep, over the top, but that kick floating over the head of the intended target. So another chance for East Fremantle. They've got 1:40 to try and muster another score. Versace pushed in the back and, well, held. And she'll get the free kick. She's been a good target throughout the morning. Kicks up to the lead of Rue, flew high. Couldn't take the mark. So Claremont now kicking out towards the contest. Good body work. That was clever work there from Seth, just ushering her opponent under the footy.
Played a game or two, Philippa Seth.
Plays the 1-2 with O'Sullivan. Now kicks up to a big pack of players. They fly in from all angles. Legally, no free kick forthcoming. Strong tackling again by the Tigers. Sharks player taken without the footy. Hongel on the scene, not letting the ball carrier move. And we'll have another ball up. That was a big fly from a big pack of players.
Well, it was Roxanne Rue again, second fly in 30 seconds, and she's just trying to get platinum status with one of our airline carriers. But they called her Kanga at the National Academy because of her leap. I reckon she's living up to that name at the moment.
So from Forestdale, they kick it out and then chopped off. So the Sharks starting to apply a bit of pressure now. This is English Hodge looking inboard over her left shoulder. Taking her time now, and that kicker will be intercepted. So Adele Arnott marks at centre half back. You'd think maybe they've done enough to repel this final foray forward here for the Sharks.
Oh.
Just stepping in dangerously, getting past the would-be tackler was Urseg, kicking down to the contest. Good work there from the number 11 in Goodwood and Wissink. Just halved the contest. Good strong tackle laid by Gomes, not allowing the ball carrier to move through. And that is three-quarter time. We turn for home and still all to play for. The Sharks extending a 5-point lead to 12 points. That's a game high with one term to play. Your thoughts very briefly, Clint Degebrot, in a bit of a stalemate, bit of an arm wrestle that term.
It was, and East Fremantle skills just shining through. The contest was sort of between the 50 arc of East Fremantle and probably the centre circle. And just once again, Claremont, just at different times, just failed to get that connection and get that break. So it allows the Sharks just to build momentum and extend their lead. Although the first 7 or 8 minutes of it, the game broke open. It was really, really attractive. I think it was 4 goals in a couple of minutes, and expect that to happen again here. Claremont can roll the dice.
One term to go. It is the Sharks with 1 foot in the semi-final. We'll be right back for the fourth quarter action very shortly.
If you need it live streamed, you need Front Row Screens. Visit frontrowscreens.com.au.
Nature knows it's better to be part of a group than out on your own. To be surrounded by others whose sole purpose is to keep you safe and well. At Bupa, we call it Members First. A network of thousands of healthcare providers, all there for you. Search Bupa Members First.
There's a high ball. Don't you diddle, don't you daddle, you better skedaddle. You need to run for your life. Well, like Virginia Creeper, well, didn't want to keep her just maybe for a while. You're lately in a hurdling. Well, I feel that day.
It's great to be back in the West. I've obviously been over in Sydney for a couple of years, and to be home in the nice weather and even better in the blue and gold is fantastic. Yeah, I was an inaugural part of the Giants squad in the first year, so been over there for the last 3 years and I guess experienced what it's like to be part of a new team and building something from the ground. So we've got time now, we're in the competition, we can build towards something really special, and I think that comes off the back of the first couple of years and just creating somewhere that everyone wants to be and play some good footy.
Live pictures of Andrew De Loretto's huddle with the Tigers, and a bit of work for Claremont to do if they want to try and wrestle this game away from the Sharks. 4-7-31 East Fremantle leading the Tigers 3-1-19, but wouldn't be writing the Tigers off just yet.
Oh, no, not at all. They can score quickly, and they're a quality team when they do decide to use their feet and run. But Sharks, I just think they've woken up. And I think they've been a sleeping giant all year.
Yep.
It looks like it's going to be a terrific final series. Subiaco, Swans, and East Fremantle, with Swans and East Fremantle sleeping through some parts of the season.
Yeah.
Claremont, real surprise package early, gave everybody a real shake-up, I guess,
Yep.
and made them play their best footy, which is what the competition was all about.
Yeah.
In 2019, yes, the Claremont Sharks, that's a new team I've just invented.
Yeah.
Claremont Tigers, of course, they've just got to win the ball at the bounce. They've got to get the ball into 50. Then they've got to lock off and trap East Fremantle half. They did it again in that quarter, just for a brief period. But again, Sharks just backed themselves to work by hand through that traffic and through that perimeter, and they've done it effectively all day.
Credit's got to be given to those, particularly the Tigers' full back line, because they've repelled so many attacks. It's just their half-backs that have been sort of found wanting with their ball disposal, turning it over at the wings and half-back.
I think sometimes the wings haven't made the kicks easy enough either.
Yeah.
Sometimes there've been one-on-ones we've had to have a perfect kick where you can find some space and roll those wings up to 60 and then drop one midfielder out, then get a half forward up high at 70 or 80. It just splits the defenders and makes it very hard. It makes it for an easier kick. When we're asking non-elite kicks to perform elite kicks and get turnovers, so just want to be able to dump to dangerous space and to advantage of an opponent. And I don't think Claremont have provided enough dangerous space today as they exited. They've had to execute perfectly to get a chest and move the ball forward.
Goal kickers this afternoon. Ashley Atkins becoming the only multiple goal kicker with just what can only be described as a superb volley out of thin air from the goal square. An opportunist crumbing goal. She has two. Roxanne Rue kicking one late after a down-the-ground free kick was paid. And Stephanie Spark, the other goal kicker for the Sharks. Three individual goal kickers for the Tigers. Laura Pugh, Zoe Timmers and Amber Goodwin-Wissink. We are underway. 18 minutes of football remain. If the Sharks hold on, they will get the double chance and play Subiaco next week in the second semi-final. Gooch starting the term as she ended the third and getting another possession. Beautifully weighted kick to Atkins. Can run. Bit of a stabbing ball. Goes through the hands of everyone. So Hongel has to win this contest. She's set upon by two. Just receding a little out the side door hand pass out towards Colgate. She's been pretty good this afternoon at the ball-winning front there for the Tigers, and they run out of room this time. But as we said, Evie Gooch is probably best on ground so far through three quarters.
Clearly best, and just a different level of skill that she's producing at the moment. Hongel's leg speed has saved the day, or saved the day so many times for the Tigers today, but also throughout the season. She is just so quick and reads the play so early. That's another goal-saving run.
So Bowie winning it down. Out to Pugh now for the Tigers. She goes with her non-preferred left boot. Out to the advantage of her teammate. Can't gather cleanly on this occasion. Better second effort this time. A hand pass putting a teammate under a lot of pressure. Coming back into the hands now of Dickey. Fed it off by hand to a teammate. Now a bit of a one-on-one contest here on the edge of the centre square. High up and under kick. Has that travelled the required distance? Didn't matter. No clean mark taken. And another stalemate at centre half forward. Don't want to sound like Captain Cliche, but first goal so important for the Tigers.
Yeah, I think it would, and I think Sharks would like a first goal too.
Yeah.
Just to state the obvious. No, joining the cliches. This is good from the Tigers. They're just delaying East Fremantle's transition, just chopping down. Just unfortunately, a couple of little fumbles there where they were out. Put some real pressure on the Sharks defenders.
Plushke with some strong efforts there, and Gooch can't gather cleanly on this occasion. She's been so clean throughout the afternoon, as is Colgate. Swings onto the right boot, kicking down towards the pocket. Good defensive pressure there laid by Inglis Hodge, and sees the ball out of play. Another ball in.
Got some beats in the background, is it?
Yeah. Bit of background music as Laurie looks to try and get the front positions. Out pointed by Bowie this time. Ball tumbles towards the pocket. Arnott was dumped in the tackle. Sharks again have been so good at moving the ball by hand. This is Colgate, easily the best ball winner this morning for Claremont. Bowie with that swinging right arm does affect the spoil. It does well at ground level. Tries the big fend off as well. Allows now a chance for a teammate to clear, but Pugh flew high. Couldn't reel in the mark at the last stage. Stab kick forward now by Roden Zimdal in towards the pocket and out of play. Another stoppage, and the Sharks will take this for the remainder of the morning with a 2-goal lead inside the final 15 minutes.
Well, Claremont, to their credit, have got their structures back again, and disciplined holding it. Kate Orme generally leads their back setup, and she's got full control over the back half of the ground at the moment.
Paris Laurie, they need this. The Tigers, unfortunately, just shinned it. It was great work from the ruck, but couldn't kick the miracle goal on this occasion, but better signs in the forward 50.
Also need to blow time on because that ball is in the construction yard.
Yep.
Have done that now. Probably need a new footy.
So a lucky tradie will pick that up on Monday when he returns to work, I would say.
I just don't think we need our runners to jump the fence into the construction yard to get the footy. I think we'll just give that one up. No, she's going to go over the fence. Safety first. Surely we've got a second football umps. There we go. Rachel Asquith, president of the Claremont.
So the clock has stopped 14 minutes and 18 seconds. So,
here comes a bloke. Got the hard hat on, so he's dressed appropriately to be where he is. He's going to fish this footy back before the president.
Working his overtime on the weekend too.
Time and a half to be up on level 1 watching the game. There it goes. Well done, everybody. Safely done.
To the runner from East Fremantle as well. So East Fremantle will go across the goal face, and that is a very interesting kick. That's a bit of a chaos ball, not one that you want in defence. Getting numbers back. Oh, that was well done. Tight confines there from Hill. Hill kicks out towards O'Sullivan. Again, just that strong body, bumping her opponent off the footy. Lovely hand pass into the centre half back position now. They move it to Gooch. Gooch, as she's done, moves it by hand. They don't want to waste any time. They want to put the game to bed. This is Demanis. Kicks to a contest. No mark taken this time. Demanis tries to follow up, but allows her teammate to pick it up. Gooch just read the play and got forward of that hand pass. Copped an unkind bounce. That allowed a chance for Pugh to apply some pressure. Back in towards the middle. That's Colgate. Gets away 1-2 tacklers. Kicks hurriedly onto the right boot. No marks taken. Going back with a flight of the ball. Interesting there from Seth. Looking to work there. Copping one across the shoulder. There from Goodwood and Wissink there was Inglis Hodge, but no free kick forthcoming. Didn't matter in the end for the Sharks as they move it
just really,
to half forward.
Really thought that through Inglis Hodge just to make sure that ball got to where it went to. She just held the ball beautifully to just create that outside run and was prepared to take the hit as well. Well done.
Free kick to the Tigers, to the first gamer in Jessica Eels. I've been reliably informed she's come from the netball ranks and playing her first game. So he's had a couple of touches on debut. Kick hung in the air too long. This is Rue. Kicks him back inside 50, but only onto the opponent's chest in Sophie McDonald. So she's got a couple of options on the broadcast side of the ground and instead moves it further out. No clean mark can be taken again. So the Tigers just fumbling here, putting the ball back inside their own 50. Is that prior opportunity? No.
It's a good example of going into trying an elite kick to a 2-on-1 rather than coming to broadcast side. They had two.
With the numbers favoured.
Yeah, and two players unopposed.
So ball comes back up. Strong tackling has not eased up throughout the contest.
That's hats off to all the coaches in the WAFLW this season. All 5 sides have conditioned their players to be able to tackle and be tackled. Seen very few season-ending injuries from tackling this year, whereas last year it was a real blight on the game. Yep. Girls getting whacked on the ground and players going high on tippy toes under pressure.
So the Sharks with a chance to kill off the Tigers here. Going one way then the other. Swinging onto the boot is McMahon to a contest in the goal square. So danger signs now. The alarm bells are ringing for the Tigers. There's a push and a high shot. So it'll go the way of the Sharks.
Steph Spark.
And the Claremont Tigers defender in Orme shaking her head in disbelief, but the free kick was there and a chance for Stephanie Spark to join Ashley Atkins in becoming a multiple goal kicker. She kicked one in the second term And she's kicked 7 on the season. So a fair run-up for this one. No real breeze whatsoever. Bright sunshine now bathing the ground, and a chance to move it to an 18-point lead. Hugs the right-hand goalpost, but it scrapes through. So 1 in the second term and now 1 in the fourth. She likes that end of the ground and becomes the second multiple goal kicker, and that is the breathing space the Sharks were after, Clint.
Oh, the Sharks get 2 goals out of Steph Spark in those situations. She's got 2 free kicks, and both because she was tracking the footy on the ground. That's her role. Did mention she's got good, safe hands out in front of her face, but being the smaller forward down there, you get 2 goals out of her in the next 2 finals games, and the Sharkies have got a long, long way to being a premier in 2019.
So it looks as though the Sharks are setting themselves up for not an elimination final, more a qualifying final against Subiaco next week. Unless the Tigers can really overcome what is the biggest lead of the afternoon. Good signs from this clearance. Ball in the hand now of Goodwin Wissink. Can send them further forward. Good, strong mark. So right as that question was asked, it looks as though they can answer. And then getting off the leash, they're in towards full forward. Couldn't take the mark. Ball's in the hand of guess who? Gooch feeds it off by hand to Priestley. Priestley with a clearing kick. Out towards the broadcast side. Just trying to stiff arm her way out of trouble there was Gomes, and that was prior opportunity. And rewarded with a successful tackle was Arnott. That was impressive.
Played a lot of football together, those two, in different representative sides. And Gomesy came up with a big smile on her face to Arnott. Nice to see that.
Just a little pat. Pat on the backside as they ran off towards the play. Now Colgate getting very close to the player on the mark. Can kick up towards centre half or juggled attempt from the Sharks player. Couldn't be taken. Back to Gomes. Did it the right thing this time, getting the left hand towards the ball. Good forward line pressure again. And the ball spins out of play. That was Ashton Hill. Good closing speed there on the contest. Gooch going straight over there to Urseg, giving her a bit of a bump off the footy. Ball gets spun back in. Off the face of Bowie. Now, was that brought back in by the Tigers player? No, the ball's been extracted somehow. Versace in on the scene. Gang tackled. Another ball up. We're inside 9 minutes, so we're halfway through this final term. East Fremantle with the biggest lead of the game, 18 points. Down to Versace, bit of a blind hand pass, almost falconing her teammate. Gooch again, another possession. Gaining valuable territory. Sharks with another clean pair of hands. Kick around the corner. Is that mark going to be paid? Yes.
There's a good example of what we're talking about not having to come back around onto a right foot to get the ball going forward. And unfortunately intercepted, but it's just such a more efficient way of moving the ball forward.
So the ball spills to the advantage now of the Sharks. Looking towards Versace. She had to sit under that bouncing footy. Beautiful work there in a tight position from Seth. Seth kicks sort of blindly in the end. Spilling the mark was Orm. That allowed the Sharks to get numbers to this contest. They'll be happy with a ball up at centre half forward. Now, they got 2 players further of this contest, and the Tigers will want to bottle it up. Hongel, reading the player she's done so well throughout the year, can feed it off to a teammate. They kick up towards the Bullseyes. Nice little paddle work out the side there from the Tigers player. All slung in a rough tackle. Too high was Spanos, and right as we were talking about the clean tackling, probably a rare high shot that we've seen this afternoon.
A little bit of a height differential,
yeah.
So had to drop the hips a little, Bowie, just to secure that one.
Kicks up towards centre half forward, 2-on-1 again. Numbers favouring the Sharks. Hacked forward now by Claremont from Urseg, in towards the pocket. Can the Sharks repel this attack? It looks as though they've got numbers at fullback at the moment. Their hand passing is so effective is because their movement off the ball. They hand pass and then move to be a secondary target. Would you agree, Clint?
I do. The question is, what do you do when you don't have it?
Yep.
What the Sharks do is they shift and they move.
Yep.
It's really, really effective, and it's really hard to defend because we don't have anyone standing in one spot.
Here comes Orm, just busting away across centre half forward. Beautiful kick. So a chance now to reduce it back to a 2-point margin. This goal has to be kicked by Brooke White, and she is a handy goal kicker. She's kicked 6. In fact, she's kicked a goal in each of these 2 previous meetings with the Sharks. So back in round 5 and round 10. So a chance in round 15.
It's just terrific. back line attack on the footy,
Yep.
driving through the spaces and getting the ball long and deep.
Yeah, Kate Orme take a bow. So goal must be kicked here by Brooke White, and her set shot is on the way. She likes it. The goal umpire likes it, and so do the Tigers. So breathing more life back into this contest. Inside 6 minutes remaining. We haven't talked about the possibility of a draw. A draw would mean East Fremantle host Claremont next week.
Which would probably suit East Freo. East Freo, well, they definitely want to go.
But it would be an elimination final rather than a second chance. So.
Definitely want. I mean, second spot. Yep. You can't argue with that. But I think I still think the Sharks are going to back themselves to give this a shake, no matter what happens here. Tough from Claremont. 5 minutes to score 2 goals. East Fremantle will have to kind of stop. I can't see that happening at this stage.
They've been accurate in front of the big six. 4 goals, 1, but just haven't had the number of scoring shots. So ball up. Laurie won it down. They've got to win this clearance. Colgate overrunning the footy. Stacks on the mill. Another ball up.
It's really good umpiring there. He couldn't quite get a clean look at what happened there, and he didn't guess.
Yep.
Just love to see umpires just make sure that they call.
And we'll give him a shout out. Jack Miotti and Connor Mannix. They've done a superb job this afternoon. Here comes Gooch. A rare fumble from her. That's Laurie. Stooping from the penthouse down to the basement. Tallest player on the ground. Did well. Pugh hacked out of the air to Laurie. She was immediately set upon. So can the Tigers get it going forward? They can this time. Up towards White, but she was beat to the footy. Or trying to spin her way through the Sharks player, and it's holding the ball. So still a chance for the Tigers. They can see the clock just as well as we can. 4.5 minutes. That's a good kick, but dropping the mark there was Laurie. Went to ground at the wrong time. They can still feed it out by hand. They just need to have a bit of composure. Pugh, she can offer that. Kicks up towards centre half forward. Juggled attempt at the mark there from the East Fremantle player. Just steps through the would-be tackler. That was well done. Erin Fox, but now the hand pass is smothered. Back with Fox. Can kick out towards the wing. Dangerous. 2 players in the same team almost meeting on the wing. Hongel through her legs. Back now into the hands now of the Sharks player in Tinson. They're looking for a bit of composure. Did she throw that? No, said the umpire. Hongel, saddle put on her, dumped to the ground. No prior opportunity. You feel that was maybe a good chance for the Tigers, but the Sharks did well to stand up.
I think Hurricane Tinson and Carly Tapner did pretty well not to murder each other on the wing here prior to the
Friendly
final
fire.
next week. But 2 smart players obviously just shifted their bodies to make sure that all worked out very well.
I did sort of half turn away because I was expecting a collision.
2 very strong players that don't muck around much.
Hacked into the arms of O'Sullivan, who literally came off the interchange gate. So kicks up towards centre half forward. Any score for the Sharks would kill the game. So Hongel, did she take the legs of the player? No. And they're going to get pinged holding the ball. So unfortunate. Running away now was Tapner and kicks blindly in towards centre half back. So they've got 3 minutes to kick 2 goals. That just to tie the scores, and they've got a long way to go. So the Sharks will be happy just to see the ball movement stagnate here, and they have turned it over. So Gooch, if she looks up, could be on here with a centering ball, and that's where it's going, and it's through the hands there, getting back from Arnott. Can they be clean now, the Tigers? Interesting spinning ball out towards O'Sullivan. Through the legs there. Her basketball background helping her on that occasion. High kick up towards left half forward. Going back bravely with a flight of the ball there was Urseg. That took a lot of courage and is down, hurt behind play. We'll stick with it here on the broadcast wing. That was courageous. Here it is with Gooch now. So Gooch will look up, kicks up towards centre half forward, and the big leap and the mark taken. Still down, laying prone on the ground there was Brooke Urseg in that heavy collision. But the ball in hand now of Roxanne Rue.
I think she's winded there.
Yeah.
So hopefully be able to just recover.
So Rue, that is a superb kick. And just running out of legs in the back line there, the Tigers, who rarely let that happen today.
Well, they just haven't gone in
numbers
that they have. They've sort of started to drop off behind the play. That's what happens when you play the hard way, which is to defend non-stop for a half. Just you do spend your tickets early.
So Brooke Urseg just making her way off the ground, just holding her right hip, but that was absolute courage going back into oncoming traffic. So the game to be put to bed by the Sharks, a minor score. 5-8 moves them now to 13 points and a minute and a quarter remaining. So it will be Subiaco taking on East Fremantle next week. And the Tigers will have to take on Swan Districts, who will get to host that elimination final. And they have the week off as well. Gooch dropping the footy and holding the ball. That's the only thing that she's probably been at fault for throughout the afternoon.
It's pretty unfortunate too. She had a fingernail on her jumper when she fumbled the footy. First fumble for the day.
Up towards Laurie. Through her hands. Kicking up towards centre half forward. Colgate again. Good body work. Swings it around the corner of the right boot. Laurie. She's had a good final term.
She has. She's actually worked hard throughout the game. She's just been in really hot spots.
That's an impressive mark taken by Rachel Ashley. It's between the wing and half back. So into the final 20 seconds. Gooch, another chance at a possession through her hands. Just inside the paint of the boundary line.
Might have sold that pretty well too, Gucci, I reckon.
Yeah, I think that may have just carried the line. So they are looking the goods. East Fremantle, final siren. They've come and done the business. There was second spot on offer and they grabbed it with both hands. A convincing display. They trailed at the first term, Clint Degebrot, by 3 points, but had so many scoring shots. They finally capitalised on that and deserved winners this morning.
I think the Tigers will be nice and pumped up for next week now. Trusting their gameplay, trusting their skills, trusting their plans, and trusting each other is a very good way to enter the final series. And I think that's what won the day today for them. They didn't panic when things weren't going well. They didn't get stressed out by not converting their opportunities. They just continued to work and surge the ball forward. Their back feed was delicious. The way they controlled their lanes and the lines was equally impressive. Very, very brave. Claremont gave the Sharks a really, really hard time throughout the whole game. So there's a lot of good players there. And the Tigers are capable of going and taking it to the Swans over at a Steel Blue. Going to travel over to Bassendean to play some tough footy they can.
Yep.
And they just have to be capitalising on all their efforts, particularly in their transition from defence to mid. I guess I'm talking about defensive to mid connections, I think.
Yep. So they're missing Emily Bonza this week. They'll be hoping for her. Well, I couldn't catch word of why she was out of the lineup pre-game, but you'd think that one of their better ball winners would add a bit more bite.
It's not just her ball winning ability in the centre of the ground, it's her defensive pressure as well.
Yep.
So not only, if she doesn't have it in her hands, there's no opposition player that's allowed to have an easy time. She leads. She leads the anti-basketball defence. She gets in the face of the opposition. And when she does it, her teammates join her. Very, very clean, very, very aggressive. Younger version of Cara Donnellan. I've always thought that. Watch that movie 150 years ago, Single White Female.
Yep.
The top knot, the similar frame, the similar approach to footy. And she's developing skills to match or at least to start to bridge the gap between herself and Cara. And I think that Emily Bonza will be joining the ranks of the AFL.
Yeah, and as you said, some spots on offer coming up. So who caught your eye today? Obviously the obvious one, Evie Gooch, but who else from the Sharks stood out today?
I think it's the usual suspects. Philippa Seth is very quietly went in a business today, but she had a ton of the football under pressure as well. Gabby O'Sullivan at different times. Atkins definitely got them going forward when they needed to, and she's got that power to do so. So she's got the ability to just get the ball going her team's way.
Yep.
Just as they do their celebrations. Across the board, look, I'm really happy with Kimberly Bowie today. She just causes real problems to the opposition.
Yeah.
She's a bit rough and ready at different times, but she just provides a contest wherever she is, and she's made that her brand in 2019. I think it's really worked well for her.
For me, a pleasing sign for the Sharks would be the fact that they get a resounding win without Roxanne Roux having to kick a bag. I mean, coming in with 11 goals today, she had one, but really Atkins stepped up today and Stephanie Spark becoming multiple goal kickers.
And you play your role, I guess. Ashton Hill was good. Roxy was good in her role. Taryn Priestley was sound down back. So I think it was one of those days where people just perform their roles. Anne McMahon was good again. Just doing the right thing at the right time. So good leadership and good discipline.
So just some of the highlights throughout the afternoon. Claremont led at the first change by 3 points, and then East Fremantle really coming to life, kicking their first 2 goals of the game, and they led by 5 points at half time. That win really set up for them in the third term. They kicked 2 goals to 1, but also just their work defensively really repelling and not allowing the Tigers any easy shots on goal.
Well, that's the thing too, is I think what East Fremantle denied the Tigers today was the ability to set up that that sort of anchor behind the footy. They love to drop Kate Orme into that space behind, have the 2 kicks at 45 and really, really strangle the opposition. East Fremantle just obviously had a plan for that not to settle today. At different times when Claremont got that to work, they got the ascendancy and scored. But most of the time, East Fremantle were prepared to work through the pressure at the face and then find the spaces.
And how do teams defend such a high handballing sort of rate of a team, because the ball moves so quickly?
You have to actually tip over. It's like your basketball guard. You actually have to go to the ball carrier, and then you have to cover off the 2 receivers. You have to sack the back feed with pressure from behind. It takes an immense amount of work and immense amount of discipline. So if you've got to sack the back feed mentality, which means a forward's got to run hard at the back, you've got to basically take the 2 receivers off their feet while you're working at the face. It takes 4 people working at exactly the same time, at exactly the same work rate, and it's really easy to talk about. It's really hard to do.
Who caught your eye in a losing effort today? I mean, they started so positively. They were winning a lot of the ball. Colgate was superb again for them, and Hongel. She could be a smoky for the comp's fairest and best this year.
Yeah, she spent so much time with the ball in her hand, and she does some eye-catching things too. She runs with the footy. She defends hard. She never gives a contest up. So I agree, she would have attracted the eye. I thought today, I thought Alana Dickey was handy early. I thought Sarah Garstone was strong across the game. I liked Amber Goodwin-Wissink's work up front, and she had a definite influence on the game, particularly when Chloe Colgate was up and about. Amber was able to do some really good work there. Pugh was strong throughout the game. I might try Brooke White, I think, was very, very, very busy across the day. The only sort of real link player for the Tigers. There's another player I'm thinking of. I can't. Del Arnott was okay at different times as well. So there's plenty there. Lara Zimdel, we have to go back through the tape to see how fast she uses her hands. She's a very good release of the football. Isabella Zadnik was brave in the ruck. There's plenty going on for the Tigers. It's just a matter of making sure they keep possession of the football for longer periods. So
next week we'll see that qualifying final. Subiaco will host East Fremantle. Their last meeting back in round 12, 9 points. East Fremantle getting up over the line. They go in with this winning momentum. Subiaco play Peel. We're not sure how that's going to pan out. You would suggest a Subiaco win, but that's going to be an outstanding game.
Yes, definitely. I'm looking forward to both to see how Peel finish off. There's been some upheaval at the Peel Footy Club. A lot of the coaches, the S&C staff, won't be continuing through to 2020, so it'll be interesting to see how the players respond. They've eaten each other a little bit alive up there at different times, so it'd be nice to see them settle and gel and take something into next year, sort of sell the message of hope for the Peel Thunder Footy Club. I think they can do that against Subiaco, depending on what Subiaco are feeling at the time, but it's the week after that's really exciting. Yeah, and then Claremont will have an elimination final against Swan Districts. So the pointy end of the season has finally come. 15 rounds, such a successful year in the inaugural season. Oh, it's been great fun. It's been terrific to develop talent through this competition. They've played, you see Chloe Roll, they're getting some kicks at 16. The Footy Commission's done a sound job. A lot of the work's done by the WAFL board as well. Of course, Carolyn Hills and her team still plugging away. Luke Sanders has been terrific inside doing his operational work with Scott Baker. But really, the clubs have come on board. The coach-led clubs for the most part. Strong leadership, focus on development, and focus on making sure the games are entertaining. And exactly what the state needs to play good football at top level. All right, Clint Degebrot, thank you so much. Always a pleasure calling with you. We look forward to the business end of the season. It is finals week next week. Get on to the WAFL Facebook page or the WAFL website to check fixtures and also broadcast times. Thanks for joining us. Congratulations to the Sharks. They're through to the qualifying final. The Tigers will need to take on Swan Districts next week in an elimination final. On behalf of Clint Degebrot, this is Matt Chechen signing off from Revo Fitness Stadium in Claremont. We look forward to your company next week.
This WAFLW live stream is proudly brought to you by Optus, proud naming rights partner of the WAFL, and WAFLW, Bupa, proud sponsor of WA football, and the West Coast Eagles, supporting WA female footballers to follow their dreams.